Howdy, howdy. Welcome on into the Arctic tundra. The pre-show before the free show. It is actually cold in here today.
I feel great.
I opened up the door to for the first time, and I felt like I was just attacked by frozen air.
So there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about in this pre-show, but we don't have time
to talk about it being cold.
There's a lot of things to talk about. But so I do want to ask you about your weekend, because you had a fun weekend.
I did.
It was a work weekend for you, but it was a fun work weekend for you.
Correct.
Do you want to tell people what you did?
Yeah.
We talked about it on Friday, but
yeah, I was lucky enough to get the call, and the NCAA allowed me to MC the women's Final Four.
Wow. Here in Dallas.
Here in Dallas, yeah. It was the two semifinal games, which I feel like the whole nation was watching that night, Friday night. And then they hosted the D3 and D2 national championships on Saturday afternoon, so that was really fun. And then the national championship was yesterday between LSU and Iowa. LSU ended up winning it, but I feel lucky enough to have done a lot of really cool things professionally in a short amount of time. That was by far the coolest event I've ever worked. It was exceptional. It was a lot of fun, and shout out to everybody who actually came out to the games. We broke the record for a Final Four championship weekend. The attendance record was broken.
Yeah.
So that made it really cool, and I alongside Madison Hawk, we actually got to announce that to the crowd last night. That was cool. It was a lot of fun.
It was a good weekend of basketball. I watched. I was kind of in and out on Friday night, watching as much as I could of the Caitlin Clark show. It was good. It was good basketball. I told you at the beginning of the tournament that Caitlin Clark was a star. So I mean, if you guys listen to TFT every day, then you would know. You'd be ahead of the curve. Stuff like that. Anyway, no, it was a fun tournament. I'm glad you had a good time.
Thank you. A lot of fun. Ton of fun.
You may remember, longtime listeners of TFT may remember this time last year, wherein we talked about the egg scramble at in my community, in my neighborhood, and it came around again. You may remember the sad story we told of poor Hank, who got a grand total of 1 egg last year. Tough scene.
I was mad at you for Hank's
performance.
It was because Hank is too nice. We needed to roughen him up a little bit.
There were multiple failures.
Yes.
Multiple failures. I own some of it. He owns some of it. But what you guys don't know is that
you've been in the lab.
That experience fueled us.
Yes.
And we have been talking about it for an entire year. Because we're not going to let that happen again. And so this past Saturday was the egg scramble part 2. Max was unable to attend. Max was a little under the weather this weekend. But I took Hank up to the local park to the egg scramble. And we worked on our plan. Now we had a strategy. We drew up the whiteboard. We had everything, and literally, this is a fact. Every day for the last 2 weeks, I've said, Hank, when we go to the egg scramble, what are you gonna do? And he would say, I'm gonna run to the far eggs.
Yes,
because
the game plan.
So
yes.
To recap, think of a baseball field. Okay.
Yes.
And you've got the foul lines that go towards the dirt, and then the dirt infield.
Okay.
And they put all the eggs in the outfield.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the lines.
Yeah, you don't need them rolling around in the dirt. That makes sense.
Those are the lines. It's the foul lines down to the dirt, and then the dirt
to the wall.
In the dirt.
Okay.
It's all in the grass. So they spread out all the eggs.
Okay.
So Hank,
where do you start? In the dirt?
Yeah, we started in the dirt.
Okay.
But I mean, there were people coming from this side and then people from this side. We started in the dirt. And the plan we came up with was, Hank, if you're on the edge, if you're on the leading edge of people, even if you're first, you're not going to get as many eggs.
No.
Everyone's going to stop and get the first egg you want.
Yes.
You have to run past
the
first wave of eggs Go to the far eggs.
Yes.
Okay? Go to the far eggs.
All the way back there. Please tell me he took off like a bat out of hell.
And I'm pleased to announce that the plan worked.
Let's go! Hankopotamus.
And Hank came home with I didn't count, no fewer than 25 eggs.
I got a picture. You sent me a picture. And I, audibly, sitting there at the Final Four, audibly
eggs.
went, let's go! And they were, looking at me, and I was like, look at Hank's eggs!
No fewer than 25 eggs. Kid cleaned up.
Let's go.
Kid had a game plan, and he executed.
Does he recognize the fact that, the game plan worked?
Yes.
Has that completely registered?
I mean, we had a celebration, and we talked about how great of a listener he was, and how, You plan to win, and you win to plan.
Yes. No. That
Sure.
So I need that on a shirt.
You plan the work and you work the plan. Something like that. I don't know.
You plan to win and you win the plan.
All that's to say, we came up with a great game plan, and it was a full, for all the reasons that last year was a failure.
Yeah.
This year was success.
And that's
success.
it. That's it.
The game plan was sound.
Mm-hmm.
And Hank executed.
Let's go.
And
My
just
guy.
really proud. He came up with now here's the thing though. There's also an element of he was on the 3 to 4 year old field this year.
And he's top dog.
He's
at
4.
that point.
He's 4, right?
So next year he's
levels
gonna
up.
Okay.
Did I tell you last year? I'm sorry. We will get on with the show here in just a minute.
Well, I have another follow up.
Okay. Did I tell you that there is an adult egg scramble?
This was my follow up.
Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that.
God darn it! No. Okay. Come on.
You
man.
come out next year and you do it.
Oh, I'll stiff arm some people.
Do it, because I am not.
I don't have a kid though. Am I allowed to participate if I don't have a kid?
It's just a town thing.
Okay.
It's a civic thing. I am not coming in here on crutches with a blown quad and then you're saying, "Oh my gosh, Tepper, what happened?" Well, I was in the adult egg scramble. I'm not risking that. I am embarrassing enough.
That's fair.
Okay?
Oh, gosh.
I don't need any help.
I would be the one to get hurt. Out of anybody in this office, I would be the one to get hurt in an adult
the other thing
egg
is that,
scramble.
you kind of scout it out, and there's a lot of weekend warriors out there, a lot of CrossFit dads, and I'm just like, you guys are too jacked up.
Maybe, you know what we should do? I want to see Mallory in the adult egg scramble. Mallory would wreck.
Quadzilla would go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Is a good weekend.
Okay, maybe we need to figure out when it is next year. Maybe Mallory and I will participate in the adult egg scramble.
It's a very good weekend.
Only if we can use Hank's game plan, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. I can get you the playbook.
Okay.
Hit the theme expo. Pickle. Hit the arrow sign. Yes, yo! From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program online. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of the places that are listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's the Duchess of the Dorks. She's the voice of the Final Four. In your face, Sue Bird.
I got to meet her.
Texas Football Today's own Sue Bird. Hi, Sue. She's the Duchess of the Dorks. She's Ashley Spickle. What if Sue Bird listens to this podcast? She doesn't.
She does not.
She does not.
As she had zero idea who I was. I was just the loser that was trying to get, who was freaking out shaking her hand.
Yeah. She's pretty cool.
But I did get to shake her hand, so that was dope.
There you go. That's right. I've never shaken her hand because we had her on the phone.
That's true.
So, in my face. Today is Monday, April 3rd, 2023. 234 days till Thanksgiving. I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, do it. Pineapple.
Pineapple?
Yeah, see, if you yell pineapple, it makes people not sneeze because then they go, pineapple?
Oh, I guess.
Science.
I guess that worked. Happy 50th birthday to Adam Scott.
That's a golfer.
No.
Oh.
Not that one. Adam Scott is the one on Severance. He was Ben on Parks and Rec. He was
okay.
Derek on Step Brothers.
Derek.
Bow, bow, Derek.
I can only think about when he's forcing the family to sing in the car.
He's great.
Derek.
You're flat.
Come on, I do not pay for singing lessons.
That's great. Anyway, he's 50 today.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good-looking 50-year-old.
Yeah, no kidding.
Episode 1565. On today's show, folks, back half of the show, we've got a very, very, very big guest. We're going to be joined by the new head coach of the North Shore Mustangs, Coach Willie Gaston. Will join us. We'll talk about the transition from offensive coordinator to head coach. We'll talk about all things North Shore, one of the preeminent programs in Texas high school football. We'll hear from their new head coach, Willie Gaston, joining us live here on the show. He's coming up here in the back half of the show, but we will start it all off with some headlines. But first, do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was...
Go on.
Nick Morton, Coach Terry Crawford, Andrew Christensen, and Daniel Agnew. Welcome in, fellas. What? Breaking.
No, I'm always worried. I think you do this as well. I'm sure you do this as well.
Okay.
Whenever I see someone trending, I always worry.
Yes, that it's not for a good thing.
Earl Campbell is trending.
Oh, no. Oh, that would have been disastrous.
So that's why the audible shock. But don't worry. For some reason, we're wishing him a birthday last Wednesday.
Okay.
I mean, happy birthday, Earl Campbell.
Yeah, that's like
you rule.
That's a fine trending.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Yeah. Like you trend for one of two. Like if you are of a certain age, you trend for one of two. Really, one of three reasons. One is that like it's your birthday. Or like something.
Or you're getting an award or something like that.
Two is that you have met your end. Or three, you said something terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
So it appears that none of those happened aside from his birthday. So happy birthday, Earl Campbell.
If I don't know
I was worried.
between the last two of those, something bad or the end has passed, I always go to David Hinahos's Twitter because he always says like so-and-so has gone to Jesus, and that's how I know.
Yeah, that's really how you know. Anyway, we
avoided disaster.
Okay. We're good. We're good.
False
Stand
alarm.
down. Stand down. All right, Pickle. Time for some headlines from across the state of Texas. And we will start with another high-profile transfer, this one in the Austin area. Greg Powers, our recruiting analyst here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, reports that Jacob Henry, a defensive tackle from Lake Travis, is leaving Lake Travis and is going to play his senior season at Vandegrift. Vandegrift, of course, played for a 6A Division II state championship last year. Henry had 50 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks in an all-district season there for Lake Travis. He is a recruit of some note, some repute, a guy that we certainly have our eye on here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We have him as a 3-star prospect in Dave Campbell's Texas Football rising on TexasFootball.com/recruiting. He is one of the things that is noteworthy about him is his dad. His dad is Mark Henry, former Olympian and a wrestler. Yesterday was WrestleMania, so that's notable, I suppose. Yes, so he is an accomplished wrestler as well. He qualified for state last year as well. So Jacob Henry, a 3-star defensive tackle, is transferring from Lake Travis to Vanderbilt. And we posted this on TexasFootball.com. We posted it on Facebook, and I made a mistake of... You okay?
I thought my coffee was warm, and it's not. It's very cold, and it was very bitter. Sorry.
She made a face. But that was actually the kind of face that some people in the comments on Facebook were making. And honestly, I should never have gone through Facebook. But
no, that's on you.
A lot of people who are really like, oh, man, like transfers all over the place, up and arms, stuff like that. I think it's worth resetting the transfer process here in Texas and how it works. You can't just transfer willy-nilly, especially, to be clear, you cannot transfer for athletic purposes.
No.
The way that it works, let's say that Ashley Pickle wants to transfer from Tepper High School to Pickle High School, okay? Which,
seems
why wouldn't
fitting.
you? Yeah, absolutely. You're the star quarterback for Tepper High School. You want to transfer to Pickle High School. I have to fill out a form. Me, your coach, your former coach, have to fill out a form saying whether or not you are transferring for athletic purposes, whether or not I believe you are transferring for athletic purposes.
Yeah, I think the parents have to sign in and all sorts of stuff, but the coach is the main factor.
It's called a PAPF form is what it's called. And so if I, the coach at Tepper High School where you are transferring from, check yes, you are transferring for athletic purposes, you are ineligible next year. You are ineligible. Now, that can get appealed to the district executive committee, and then that can get appealed to the state executive committee, but you are ineligible until you are ruled otherwise eligible. If I do not check that box, if I say, no, you are not transferring for athletic purposes, then you are eligible to move on to Pickle High School. And so, for those who are up in arms and saying, oh my gosh, look at this guy, he's just transferring, to a winner, somewhere along the line, Hank Carter, the coach who is losing Jacob Henry, decided, no, he's not transferring for athletic purposes. He's good to go to Vandergrift. So, I understand that there are some people who frankly just don't understand how this type of thing works.
Right.
And that they think of this as transfer portal, like it is in the college ranks where you can just kind of transfer for any reason.
Yeah.
That is not the case in the UIL. That coaches are ultimately in control as to whether or not a kid is eligible the next year. Now, we can certainly have a conversation about that power dynamic.
Right.
But for this one, and in situations like this, whenever you see a transfer like this, just know that if he is eligible next year, it is because his former coach, the coach who would theoretically have every reason to keep him from being eligible, said, no, he's good.
Yep.
And such is the case.
Well, and the other thing is, too, I feel like people don't understand, this isn't just a sheet of paper that the UIL gets and it's like a check.
Yeah.
All right, next one. They don't just go through with a stamp and approve it. They read through it. It's a long process.
Yeah, it is not easy to transfer. And to be eligible, but such is the case. And so Jacob Henry is transferring to Vandergrift. Some coaching changes in the Texas high school football world. We're staying in the Austin area. Talk about Round Rock. Round Rock has a new head coach. Cody Moore has been promoted from their defensive coordinator position. You may remember Jeff Cheatham was promoted from head football coach at Round Rock High School to athletic director of Round Rock ISD. That opened up Round Rock High's job. They have promoted their 37-year-old defensive coordinator, Cody Moore, who's a Comfort guy. He played college football at TCU. He's been their defensive coordinator for the past 4 seasons. Before that, he was the defensive coordinator at Stephenville. Before that, he was on staff at Flower Mound. Remember, Round Rock was 9-2 last year. He's taken over a good program, and so keep an eye on that. There's as the new head coach is former TCU defensive lineman Cody Moore, new head coach at Round Rock. Down to the Houston area, Texas Football Today's own
our guy
Kelvin Chatham is on the move. You may remember we talked with Kelvin Chatham, the head coach at Booker T. Washington.
It was
down there in
one
Houston,
of our favorite interviews.
as a guy who had done unbelievable work and helped turn around that Booker T. Washington program, led them to a 10-1 mark in 2022, their first district title since 2006, their first double-digit winning season since 1994. Did unbelievable work. He is now going to become the new head coach at Aldine Davis. Aldine Davis, Scott Joseph left after 4 seasons. They're in late February. Chatham is an Aldine ISD guy. He's an Aldine Nimitz grad. He went on to a college career at Illinois State. Was in the NFL and spent some time in the CFL before he moved into the coaching ranks. But Kelvin Chatham is getting going back to Aldine ISD from whence he came. He's going to become the new head coach at Aldine Davis. And so Booker T. Washington in Houston is open. Speaking of Houston ISD, let's go to Houston Chavez. And Houston Chavez has made a hire. Rafael Hernandez stepped down after just 1 season. They have a new head coach. It is Katy Paetow, offensive line coach Louis Rodriguez. Louis Rodriguez is the new head coach at Houston Chavez. He's a Katy guy, but before that, he does have some kind of a roundabout resume. He was a grad assistant at Boise State. He was on the staff at Pembroke College in North Carolina. He's probably best known. He was the offensive coordinator for 3 seasons at Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, which is a kind of a nationally known powerhouse program. He was at Bishop for a minute before he came back to hometown. He was the offensive line coach. Katy Paetow now going to be the new head coach at Houston Chavez. So congratulations to Louis Rodriguez, the new head coach there at Bishop Bishop at Houston Chavez. A lot of two-name schools.
Yes.
Bullard is looking for a new head coach. Scott Calloway announced that he is retiring from coaching, moving into an athletic director only role. This was reported by our friend Phil Hicks at the Tyler Morning Telegraph. He arrived, and he has an 86-83 record overall. He was at Big Sandy, where he led them to back-to-back state semifinal appearances in 2004 and 2005. He has been there he's been at Bullard for the past 6 seasons. And he is now moving into an AD only role. So Bullard is looking for a new head coach. Ropes, Tiny Ropes, former 6-man school, now moving up to the has moved up to the 11-man ranks. They have made a hire. Lane Jackson was who's going to stay as the stay on as the athletic director. But they have hired a new head coach, Bo Riker. Bo Riker is the linebackers coach at Brock. He is a West Texas guy. He's from Anton originally, but he's spent 2 seasons on the staff at Archer City. He's a guy who has that kind of West Texas pedigree, so he's going back out west to take over at Ropes.
I am actually kind of surprised that a school of that size would have a separate athletic director and head football coach. That's very unusual.
It is. If I remember correctly, Ropes is pretty good at basketball.
Yes, yeah, Ropes is very good at basketball. But that is just shocking. Most of the time, programs, even at 3 and 4A level, most of the time you don't have anyone that's doing both of those jobs.
Most certainly. Anyway, there you go. Bo Riker, the new head coach at Ropes. Electra has made a hire. Electra was looking for a head coach after Ryan Quillen stepped down. He stepped down he's going to remain as the athletic director and head boys basketball coach. But they have hired Salina's run game coordinator, Josh McKitty, to be their next head coach. He's been at Salina for the past 4 seasons. He's been an assistant kind of all over: Prosper, Pilot Point, Coppell, Midland Legacy, then Midland Lee, Keller, Arlington, Sam Houston, and Sachs. He's a Wiley guy originally, but McKitty is going to be joining as head coach at Electra. He's actually the second assistant from the Salina staff to get a head coaching job. Travis McClain got a job at Rivercrest back in February. So Electra has their new head coach. Riesel's looking for a head coach. Tyler Crow has resigned after a pair of seasons there. Went 14-11 there for the Indians. Led them to the regional semifinals back in this past year in 2022. And he's going to they posted the job on the THSCA board, which means that they are going to. So there should be a Matt Stepper reports on TexasFootball.com that's been posted on the THSCA board, and they say that they want their applications by April 12th, which means and with potential start date of April 18th. They're going to move quick on this, which you have to imagine is the case. The later we go, the quicker these things tend to have to move. So Riesel is looking for a new head coach as Tyler Crow is out after a pair of seasons. And finally, this written up by your own friend Greg Tepper on TexasFootball.com. Let's talk about Colleyville Covenant Christian.
Colleyville Covenant Christian because it was baseball related.
Colleyville Covenant Christian was looking for a new head coach. Phil Toe has been there for a while. He's now going to move into just an athletic director role there at Colleyville Covenant. So they've been looking for a new head coach. They found a new head coach by promoting their offensive coordinator. Or their associate head football coach, as you do. Their associate head football coach, a gentleman by the name of Vernon Wells.
Ever heard of him? Vernon
Wells, you may remember, as a 3-time American League All-Star outfielder for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's also their head baseball coach, which makes sense because he was really good at baseball. He was a guy who played 15 seasons in Major League Baseball. He was, I believe, the 6th overall pick in the 1997 draft. Yeah, MLB draft. He does have history with football. He was a star at Arlington Bowie, and actually had signed to play both football and baseball for Texas.
Holy cow, that's unheard of.
Yes, before he was taken 5th overall in the 1997 MLB draft. I
didn't realize that.
Yeah, before he was taken 5th overall in the 1997 MLB draft. And then he's like, I'm going to go take that money. And so he did. And that
should.
ended up being a great move for him. And now he's going to get back on the gridiron. He's been with the program for the past 6 years and helping Colleyville Covenant with a couple of outstanding seasons. They won a pair of state championships in TAPS Division III, and they had 2 other semifinal appearances. So a pretty famous, notable head coach there at Colleyville Covenant now, Vernon Wells, the new head coach at Colleyville Covenant for the Cougars. As I wrote on TexasFootball.com, talk about a home run hire.
Oh, my God.
And those are some
next.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Now, let's pay some bills.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
The 83rd KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, the most historic and prestigious event in senior golf, kicks off an unprecedented run of major championships coming to PGA Frisco over the next 11 years. From May 24th to May 28th, join us as the best golfers over the age of 50 compete to have their name etched on the Alfred S. Bourne Trophy. Past senior PGA champions have included true legends of the game like Sarazen, Snead, Palmer, Nicklaus, Player, and Watson. A limited number of hospitality, pro-am, and ticket opportunities remain available for you to be a part of the first major championship at PGA Frisco. And keep in mind, corporate clients and ticket purchasers at this May's KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship will receive priority access to offerings at future major championships held at PGA Frisco, including the 2025 KPMG Women's PGA Championship and the 2027 PGA Championship. Visit srpga.com for more information. Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's welcome in the new head coach of the North Shore Mustangs down there in Galena Park. We're joined by Coach Willie Gaston. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for hopping on with us and talking with us a little bit. I'm very interested in what the past month has been like for you, and obviously with Coach K leaving to go take over as linebackers coach at Rice, and you being pretty swiftly promoted to the head coaching job. What has the last, let's just say, 4 weeks of your life been like?
Well, it's been busy with the transition and stuff, but it's a challenge that I welcome. I'm excited for the opportunity. Coach K's done a great job and, making sure everything was right in place for us. So when I took over, so it's been a smooth transition.
You're obviously familiar with the program, being promoted from the offensive coordinator position, where you've helped kind of shape one of the best and most dangerous offenses in the state for the past few years. And you know that this is a program that is far from being in need of fixing. How do you go about continuing this tradition of excellence while still, putting your own stamp on it? How do you kind of balance, keeping things the same because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, while still kind of making the program your own?
Well, I think you said it right there. At the end of the day, what we got going here is a good recipe. So, you definitely don't want to come in and think you have to change a whole lot. I think it's just doing the things that, Coach K has instilled in me and other coaches on his staff and the way we have learned underneath them the last couple of years. As far as trying to make it my own, my thing is, as long as I keep what we've been doing, our core values and the discipline up there and, the expectations of how we practice and the way we move around, and doing the little things like that, I think we'll be in great shape.
You are, of course, have such a history there with North Shore as an alum and a star in your own right. For you to get the big chair at North Shore, what does this mean for you?
It means a lot to me. It's not one of those opportunities I thought, I can be honest, I didn't see myself being the head coach at North Shore. I knew I was going to be a head coach somewhere, but, when this opportunity came, I'm glad, the administration didn't hesitate to appoint me as the head guy. I'm living a dream, to be honest with you, to be able to work at a place where I graduated from and a place where I spent so much of my time at the last 14 years as a coach, and then time that before that as a player. It's just really a dream come true for me.
Whenever you got the promotion there on March 1st, you had the opportunity to address your team as head coach. They obviously know you. You've been around.
Yeah.
What was your message to your guys when you addressed them for the first time as the guy in the big chair?
I think it's the same message, we've been preaching around here. Not one person is going to be bigger than the program. And, of course, losing a coach like Coach K, that hurt a lot of people, including myself. But the biggest thing is back to business as usual. We're back to work, and that's what the kids did. They went out there and they played their butt off and practiced their butt off and was running around. So, we definitely didn't miss a beat.
Speaking of practicing hard and playing hard, I'd like to go back to the last time we saw your squad on the field, which was in that state championship game. Came up just short to Duncanville in your fourth meeting with them in the past 5 years. Is that game something? I'm interested. You guys, it's been a long time since you guys have really lost. You guys aren't in the business of losing a lot. Is that game something that you guys are using as motivation, or is it the kind of thing where that's in the past, we're moving on, we're just going to kind of eyes forward?
That like you said, we're moving on. That was last year's team, and those guys are gone. Now we're focusing on the now and trying to get better each and every day, and that's what we're preaching to our guys is let's make sure we're coming out here putting in work because the teams in the States doing the same thing we're doing. We just got to find that extra nugget to get us over that hump.
One of the guys that I know became such a star for this team last year is off to the next level, David Amador. We called him Touchdown Dave around here. He was such a star, leading you guys, kind of stepping in whenever you needed him. He's off to play at UTSA. I'm sure there are Roadrunners fans who would love to hear it from you, the guy who knows him very well. What kind of player, what kind of prospect, what kind of guy are the Roadrunners getting in a guy like David Amador?
Well, you're getting the one guy who's definitely unselfish to better, play your whole career here as a receiver and get thrown into a game where we have to put you at quarterback without taking reps. So you're definitely getting the guy, like you guys said, Touchdown Dave. He's a extremely athletic playmaker. I think he doesn't get enough credit for how much of an athlete he really is. He's fast, he's strong. He's just a competitive by nature. He's a great kid. You're going to see a kid that's going to show up every day, not say much, but he's going to go out there and work hard each and every day.
I also want to ask you about the guy who he took over for, Caleb Bailey, who suffered an injury last year after leading the Mustangs to the state championship as a freshman back in 2021. Can you give us a little bit of insight on where he is in his recovery, and also, what do you expect from him entering his junior season, now his third year at the helm of the offense?
Well, I just expect him to keep just growing each and every year. I think he was having off to a great pace last year before he got injured. You can just see the growth from his freshman year to his sophomore year. So we got to make sure we continue to, push the envelope and continue to add things in there that he can do. But we got to be, careful with him too as well. He's ahead of schedule right now of his rehab schedule. So right now we just got him just throwing 707. He'll be cleared and ready to go for the fall.
That's fantastic to hear. And finally, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about, being there in the Houston area. You are a Houston guy there at North Shore. You're a graduate of the University of Houston. I am interested in how we're feeling about our Cougs moving into the Big 12. A big step up for this program. How are we feeling about the Cougs heading into 2023?
I'm feeling good. I think it's great for the university, to make the jump to the Big 12. I know those coaches. I got to go out there and watch a couple practices this year for the spring, and they're definitely trending in the right direction. It's always tough whenever you got to replace a quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's the biggest question mark. And that's in all levels. You got to find who that trigger man is going to be. But with that being said, I know they get the running back, McCaskill back off injury. That'll be a big help. Defense should be a lot seasoned going into it this year. So I'm excited for them. They better make that jump. I'm excited to watch and see what they do, and I'm definitely always rooting for the Cougars.
Well, and you mentioned they're looking for a quarterback. What's your eligibility look like? Do you think you get?
I can tell
you
right now, I ain't got much left in the tank. I praise these kids all the time about, I look at how these kids look these days. I don't know if this game will be for me right now.
He's Willie Gaston. He's the new head coach of the North Shore Mustangs. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new job.
All right, thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks, Coach. There he goes, Willie Gaston, head coach of the North Shore Mustangs. I don't know. He was a star there at North Shore.
Yeah.
He can go.
He said, I ain't got much left in the tank.
I appreciate it, man. And all I've ever asked of everybody around me is just know who you are.
Be self-aware.
Know where you're at. And so, excited to see that. I think it's gonna be strange for me. Just because John Kay has been such a fixture there, taking over for David Amond there and leading the title back in 2015 and kind of roaring from there. It's going to take some adjusting for me, but I think you can almost sense, and it's easy to see, and I think you saw with the quick transition where I want to say it was like Tuesday John Kay announced he was going to Rice, and Wednesday they promoted Willie Gaston. It was instant, basically.
It was Todd Dodge to Tony Salazar. You could draw a direct line to who it was going to be.
Made all the sense in the world. I get the feeling it's going to be a harder transition for me talking about it than it is for anybody in that program. That's to say, take nothing away from John Kay. And you heard from Coach Gaston, who has a lot of not good things to say about Coach Kay. You just get the feeling that staff, there's just so much. There's been so much continuity on that staff that even with Coach K moving on to the next level, that because that the voice is going to sound awful familiar, and that a lot of what makes North Shore tick is not going to change. So we appreciate Coach Gaston hopping on with us. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
I want to point you to our YouTube page.
Yeah, we got a YouTube page.
Yeah. We actually have like 3 YouTube pages, but the one I'm pointing you, we have a Texan Live YouTube page and a Dave Campbell's Texas Basketball YouTube page on top of our football one. But I'm pointing you to our football one right now, youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF, like Texas football, but just TF. Greg Powers put up an interview with Klein Kane offensive lineman Gibson Pyle.
Yeah.
He committed to Nebraska, and he talks all about it. It's a really, really good interview. But go to our YouTube page and watch that. People are loving the interview.
You know why I like Gibson Pyle?
Because first off, I feel like you can't say that name, and this comes from someone that just has a country accent kind of normally, but you can't say it without like really drawing Gibson Pyle.
Good, and it's also an excellent offensive lineman. Like Gibson Pyle could not be like.
Yeah, I mean, Pyle alone is great.
Like, he could, I hate to say it, but, he couldn't have been, a slot receiver.
No.
Gibson Pyle is not a slot receiver
No.
name. That's an offensive lineman name.
Yes.
Gibson Pyle. Secondly, the other thing about this, did you watch his commitment video?
No. I saw it in the Slack, but I couldn't actually listen to it.
Powers and I make a cameo.
Nice.
We're in it. He pulled some audio from us talking about it on TFT.
Oh, nice.
And he used it. So
yeah, I'll have to go look at it.
Big fan of Gibson Pyle.
I saw the tweet was sent, but I never had time to actually listen to it.
Yeah, go check it out. Huh. Anyway,
check out youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. Just hit the subscribe button. It's free.
Do it. Yeah, and hit the bell. If you hit the bell, it'll let you know when we have new videos. Correct. We have new videos almost every day, basically.
Yeah, so but the bell is fun.
It's going to do it. Yeah, ding. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Thanks again to Willie Gaston, the new head coach of the North Shore Mustangs, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please give me your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Texas Football Today.